Welcome everyone to today's Royal Cyber webinar session. Let's give another 30 seconds for any last minute attendees before we get started. All right, well, hello everyone. My name is Alfonso Azuaje, Business Development Manager of our SAP Commerce Services here at Royal Cyber. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's Royal Cyber webinar session on embracing headless commerce with Spartacus for SAP Commerce Cloud. In this session, we'll be covering a brief overview of Royal Cyber. We'll highlight the business values of Spartacus Headless Commerce and deep dive into the product vision and demo. We'll also cover Spartacus upgrade and migration approach and best practices and catch you up on SAP Commerce updates and its latest release. We'll share details for a specific offer from us at Royal Cyber, and of course, we'll close today's discussion with a brief Q&A session. Before getting started, I would like to introduce our guest speakers, Bill Marcotte, Senior Product Manager of Spartacus and Accelerators Storefronts at SAP, and Abdul Wahab, SAP Practice Lead at Royal Cyber. I'm excited to hear from the both of you today. Safe to say, this is a hot topic. As we get started, I would like to share a brief introduction for any attendees that might be meeting us for the first time today. Royal Cyber is an IT consulting and digital transformation company. We specialize in providing end-to-end services, solution, and software. We've been innovating in the commerce space since 2002 and have successfully completed over 1,500 projects for over 130 plus happy clients worldwide through our offices across the US, Canada, India, Pakistan, KSA, and New Zealand. Happy to say we're recognized and acknowledged by customers and partners worldwide, including Fortune 500 companies, and have a renowned reputation of providing reliable and high-performing commerce cloud, mobile middleware, and DevOps solutions and services across 12 plus industries, both B2B and B2C. And also given our technology partnerships, including, of course, SAP Commerce Cloud, and we also have Magento, HCL Commerce, Salesforce Commerce Cloud. We get a chance to serve major enterprise accounts as IT systems integrators and trusted technology partners. And again, here's a brief look into the various clients we've been working with the most recent years across B2B and B2C industries. Again, in addition to winning best and brightest companies to work for consecutively for the past few years, we've also received a couple of other awards, including Top Cloud Consulting Company in 2020 and CIO Award through our work in partnership with Placemakers, Fletcher Building, among others. Now, as far as our SAP Commerce capabilities and experience, we have development centers in both Chennai and Bangalore, India, and provide SAP Commerce customers with top-of-mind and end-to-end strategic services, solutions, and complementary assessments from everything from net new implementations, upgrading migrations, managed services support, data transformation consultation, to performance and quality enhancements. All, of course, with the goal of helping our clients maintain a digitally mature and future-proof commerce environment. Happy to say our commerce practice has an extended library of experience and certified offshore and onshore resources ready to bring the technical and strategic expertise to ensure top priority initiatives and challenges are executed within specific timelines and budgets for our clients. Now, let's get back to Spartacus and talk about what it can do for you. Now, when we think about business values of Spartacus, right from the start, when we hear Spartacus is headless and open source, we understand that it's going to be budget friendly and overall a simplified take on commerce. But unlike other headless open source storefronts, you're not sacrificing scalability and e-commerce functionality. This is a one-of-a-kind platform built to drive business growth. With Spartacus, you're given the opportunity to experience true autonomy, for scalability and the freedom to choose the e-commerce functionalities that best match not only your business, but also your customer base. That is why this is something to get really excited about. So let's go ahead and deep dive into the capabilities that make it so exciting. So how can Spartacus help you continuously deliver a 5-star competitive customer experience and ensure that your e-commerce environment stays agile and flexible? Well, from the start, it's a single page application where the first page loads and the rest is being driven by code. This alone will improve site performance, helping you drive net new and returning traffic. Now, because Spartacus is built as a progressive web application at its core, it allows you to create native mobile apps faster and again, without sacrificing scalability or functionality. Its responsive and adaptive design allows you to quickly and easily access from any system or device while keeping the same look and feel and rich experience from your site. Again, with less effort. And its SEO and social sharing functionality, because it's a single page application, it's designed to help drive organic traffic to your site through the support of SSR. Now, when we think about agility, the fact that Spartacus is 100% API driven, is focused development, has continuous delivery, and is able to scale separately, it means you are now able to do new things faster and with less effort. Because it's 100% driven, this means integrations with other systems is now easier, minimizing the contact between back and front end systems. This means your back and front end teams can focus on development separately. This reduces your development cycle and allows you to quickly launch any system and application, and also allows you to reduce dependencies. With new periodical releases, customers, aka you, now have the flexibility to continuously improve and leverage new features quickly. With the technology shift of Spartacus, because it's again 100% JavaScript and open source, you no longer have to depend on SAP customers, commerce specific resources, making it even more cost effective now to get resources. This is something to get really excited about. This is the technology shift here is gonna really help you cut cost. Fully extensible, meaning you have the freedom to pick and choose functionality you want. Seamless upgrades mean you are no longer on the treadmill of doing large implementations when dealing with version upgrades. Again, another area where you are now minimizing efforts and cutting costs. I'm sure you're seeing the trend here. This is why Spartacus is the next way forward. You now have a headless commerce solution built from the start to give you the added customization flexibility with less effort that helps you cut costs across various areas. And again, that is something to get excited about. Well, with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and pass all my excitement and the mic to the man behind the product himself, Bill Marcotte.
Hey everybody, Bill Marcotte here. I'm going to give a quick overview of the Spartacus product vision and a very quick demo. So one way to explain what we wanted to do with Spartacus is written in that blue box there. When we started Spartacus, we wanted to make an upgradable and extensible storefront that has a rich architecture, meaning you can do what you want with it, and plenty of standard features, as you see, let's say, with Accelerator storefronts. So let's start with that last part. We're currently in the process of making sure that Spartacus has at least all the features that you get with Accelerator storefronts. So, the standard stuff like search and categories and product details, but all the other features like wish list and the bunch of B2B features. So we're about 80% with B2C core features and about 30% with B2B features. That's our progress. Spartacus is built specifically for SAP Commerce Cloud, so we're not making it for anybody else, of course. But our goal, though, really is that Spartacus is released with a rich architecture, meaning that, some of the features might not be ready yet. Even when we finished all our Accelerator-based priority features, there might be some features that you want to add yourself. You want to extend Spartacus based on what customizations you're doing. And that's really where a lot of the hard work has gone. We want to make sure that Spartacus can still be customized, can be extended, but at the same time, we work hard to make sure that it's upgradable, which was not the case with Accelerator. Accelerator wasn't upgradable. We're using Angular as our framework. We have customizable style system, Everything is driven by CMS, and you can substitute other CMS systems. We made sure Spartacus is SEO friendly, so indexable, user responsive design, is a single page application, so like a single web page that loads and then code takes over. It's got the beginnings of being a progressive web app, so we don't have every bullet point from Google's list, but it uses local cache and service workers. Spartacus is just a great starting point for your custom storefront. And when we have all the features of Accelerator, then it'll replace it. But then we won't stop there, of course. We'll be supporting all the new backend functionality that the SAP Commerce Cloud team is creating. So some highlights of what happened recently. In December, we released our version 3.0, which was the first version to include support for B2B power tools, B2B checkout, B2B schedule replenishment, and the big feature, the B2B commerce organization, which is the ability to set up several employees to act as your representative for making purchases. And then you have approvers who can check and verify once a purchase is maybe going beyond a certain limit. So this is a feature of SAP Commerce Cloud. It's available in B2B Accelerator, and now it's supported by Spartacus. We also added session management, and about twice a year, we upgrade our version of Angular we're using. Just recently in February 3.1, we added integration feature, SAP variant configuration and pricing, and a few other smaller features in preparation for our 3.2 release, which isn't out yet, scheduled for April. The big feature there will be support for tag management, specifically Google and Adobe tag systems, and of course Google Analytics is part of that. And a few other features as well, like dynamic themes, saved cards. And we're going to keep releasing every 6 to 8 weeks a new version of Spartacus with new features. I should point out at this time that everything I say about future releases is under a disclaimer about forward-thinking statements, meaning I can't guarantee everything I'm saying is going to happen. But this is definitely my plans, and I can provide a copy of that disclaimer statement if you need it. So really what our long-term roadmap is that we want to support everything that SAP Commerce Cloud provides. So we want to finish off support for the core B2C features. So like I said, we have about 80% or so done, but we still have a few things to do, like bundles or pick up in store, a few extra ASM features. ASM is built in right now, but there's a few other features that have to be added. And integrations such as CDC, Customer Data Cloud, it's on its way. Actually, support for digital payments, etc. We have plenty of B2B features we want to add, considered associated with B2B storefront, the Power Tools storefront, so multidimensional products or import or export, and the commerce quotes. And some of these require new APIs. So for example, when we support commerce quotes in Spartacus, you require the May 2021 release that's coming. And then finally, architecture is still a gigantic focus for us. The next big feature, you could say, is going to be fine-grained extensibility. But also, at least twice a year, we do a new release of Spartacus, a new major update that supports the latest new Angular framework. So I think we're at Angular 9, and we're going either to 10 or 11, depending on when 11 comes out. So quick demo. Before I get to the demo, we do have public demo sites. You see them there, electronics and power tools. But also there are several real sites out there using Spartacus. And in fact, the SAP store is one of those real sites. So if you want to actually use sapstore.com to look around, you can. And what I'll be demoing quickly is the checkout and organization that we just released in December. So I'm going to switch over to my browser. And I have two screens open. One of them is logged in as Linda Wolf. And if you're familiar with B2B Accelerator, Linda is part of the sample data for Power Tools that comes with SAP Commerce Cloud. And I also have Mark Rivers signed in as a buyer. So we can see, and I've been fooling around with this, so this isn't exactly like the sample data. If I go to users, I can scroll down and I'll see, next page, I'll see Mark Rivers is a user who has the role of customer, which is a buyer. And the approver for Mark is, Mark doesn't have a specific approver. The approver for Mark is Carla. And I can tell that by going to Mark's unit, custom retail, and I see that approver for custom retail is Carla. And the shipping address Mark has to send to is Bagby Street. And the cost center Mark can choose is custom retail. You could, of course, have multiple cost centers and multiple addresses, but this is just how the sample data is set up. And there's much more to B2B com organization. Of course, you can set up a whole bunch of different units and users and approvers and cost centers and budgets and spending limits, all of which contribute to your ability as an administrator to control and manage spending. So you can put spending limits on people or allow automatic approval of purchases. And I'm actually producing an open SAP course on this, and there's documentation as well, and SAP Commerce Cloud helps. So what this means is when I go to Mark Rivers and try to make a purchase, I have two choices. So here I'm adding something to cart, going to checkout. I can either check out by credit card, which is the normal B2C core process where I'd have to specify credit card. But if I pay by account, it's because the merchant has set up an agreement with the buyer's company, so Linda Wolf's company, to settle their accounts through common invoicing. And so when Mark Rivers goes to pay, he can choose by account, and he can choose the custom retail cost center. That's his only choice, but of course there can be more. And when he goes to ship something, when he's paying by account, he has to ship to the shipping addresses defined by Linda. So here's Bagby Street, so it's already selected. The shipping method is the same. And then at the end, I can review my order. I see that I have a purchase order. I set up purchase order number 1, 2, 3, very important. And I can set up automatic replenishment as part of the B2B features. So I could do every 14 days, for example. So I'm going to place that order. Now, if this order is within Mark's spending limits, then he's able to he'll see his order go through automatically. I just hit refresh on the confirmation. So I'm just going to go to order history, and I'll see order history. Hasn't shown up yet, so it takes a minute. But all this to say that what I was trying to show was that the order Mark is creating will either be approved automatically or require approval by a person. And since Mark Rivers, if I go back to Linda's page, I see that if I go to Mark Rivers information, I see that he has a rustic. He's part of the rustic 3,000 per month purchase limit, which means that because the purchase was small, it should be approved automatically. But it's not refreshing fast enough, so I won't wait to show that. Back to my PowerPoint, and that's the end. If you have any questions, you can contact me. Go to our documentation site. Just search for Spartacus space documentation, and it'll show up. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for sharing the what, the why, and the how behind everything Spartacus. Let's take this time to shift our attention to Abdul Wahab, Royal Cyber's SAP Practice Lead, to quickly talk about Spartacus' upgraded migration methodology and what we can expect from SAP's latest release.
Thanks so much, Alfonso. Good afternoon, all. Before going to migration approach, I just want to share a few details about headless architecture. And after talking about headless architecture, I just want to give that little bit overview about SAP Commerce end of life as well. And then we can see that migrations, what we can plan. We all knows what is headless, right? So what is headless architecture looks? Headless, we know that it's going to be individual separate backend, and then front end is going to be different, right? So yes, you're right. So when we talk about headless, it is going to be decoupled. Storefront is decoupled with that backend system, and then backend is going to have a completely API calls. Backend completely, they're responsible for giving the source of truth, especially source of truth for data, like the e-commerce system. It is providing product informations, and then price details, stock details, or customer details. So all those things would be provided by the backend system by calling the API. It is exposing as a services, RESTful call or API calls, and that it is decoupled, and which is not responsible for front end. But front end can be anything. It no need to be JSP, JSTL, what we have currently with the legacy accelerator. It can be any front end system. It can be React.js, or it can be Vue component, or Spartacus. Again, Spartacus also one of the front end system which is using Angular to develop the front end, and which is coming. Main thing is which is supporting a lot of out of the box functionality, which is coming with lot of out of the box SAP Commerce features and functionality support. So that way, so why we are going reason, I mean, it's flexibility, right? So from wherever customer, they can access easily to any other API, and they can access from Facebook or Twitter or any other devices, or in store, they can easily access. That's going to give, rich experience to the customer as well. So here, if you see that the SAP Commerce end of life before migrating, why I'm giving this slide as well, because before, when customers planning for Spartacus migrations, we would definitely recommend our customer to check their the current version of SAP Commerce. Suppose if they are in 6.1 or 6.2 or before 1905 any versions, 1811 or 1808. Definitely they have to, before moving into Spartacus migrations plan, definitely they have to upgrade their system first, because Spartacus, it's completely full functionally for working, and then completely tested with the 1905 version of SAP Commerce. 1905 and 2005 2011 is working well with the Spartacus latest versions. If you see this end of life as well, 1905 also, it's going to be end of life in August 29 2021. So we would always recommend going with the latest SAP Commerce versions. If you are in the older version, definitely you should plan for upgrade first, then planning for migration would be recommended. As mentioned, Spartacus 3.0, which has been released recently in December, which is having, if you are a B2B customer, it's time to think about migrating into Spartacus, because Spartacus 3.0 supports, B2B feature functionality as well, and 80% of B2C functionality also, which is coming with the Spartacus 3.0 out of the box itself, out of the box support it is having. 3.0 already mentioned. 1905, it was tested against 1905, 2005, 2011 versions, and then previous Spartacus 3.0, before that Spartacus 2.0 also tested. This some of the numbers also it is mentioned here, right? In 99.9%, it was working fine in 2011. But 1905 and 2005, it's completely tested in the previous version, Spartacus 2.1. Okay. So let's talk about Spartacus migrations. Here, if you see this diagram, I just want to give diagrammatical representations how we can migrate for the especially legacy accelerator customer. If you are starting SAP Commerce new instance with the latest version of 2011 of SAP Commerce, definitely you can start with the Spartacus as a front end, and then OCC RESTful API you can call, and that is going to be smooth journey. But when you have legacy accelerator, when you have older version of SAP Commerce, yes, first step, as we mentioned, if you are before 1905 versions, if you are in, definitely you should plan for upgrade your SAP Commerce system to 1905 or latest. And then second thing, what we are recommending mostly, instead of planning for big migration, okay, let me do that 6-7 months, and then I'll migrate completely storefront into the decoupled storefront, which is not going to beneficial, which is not easy as well. So instead of that, we always recommend step-by-step approach, which would benefit the customer, and then transition also would be smoother. So what we are recommending, so we can create two different storefront, decoupled storefront, and then legacy accelerator already there, and then decoupled storefront. If customer wants to create a new functionality or any new features, once they plan for Spartacus migration, definitely they can start the new functionality, new features in this decoupled storefront, and they can create a OCC RESTful API and then decoupled storefront. When customer accessing the specific URL, for example, customer is accessing asishop.com. If it is if it is present in the decoupled storefront, so we can use engines or Apache to do reverse proxy that decide which system handle this particular request, and then it will redirect that particular request to that specific system. And again, even if it is decoupled storefront also, the legacy OCC RESTful API is going to be part of legacy accelerator, and then decoupled storefront will call that the OCC layer of legacy accelerator, and then it's going to respond to the customer. So that's what this diagram depicts basically. Yeah, yes, new functionality, new features. Yes, you can start with the Spartacus. But what about existing functionality, existing features, right, which you have developed? Yes. So that what we can do that we can go sprint wise, or already if you follow agile methodologies or any software lifecycle methodology, if you follow that, we can go feature by features. We can definitely start planning for specific, okay, my account, I want to move that my account feature functionality to the Spartacus. So we can go feature by features. Suppose if all those functionality which we have not customized part of OCC layer, or which is completely accelerator code, then we have to move those codes into part of OCC layer. We have to create a OCC RESTful API for that, and then we need to create a Spartacus Angular component. It's like a new component we have to create storefront wise, right? So that also we have to create, and then each sprint we can plan, and then each sprint we can go feature by features. When customer accessing, as this diagram mentioned, when customer accessing this particular URL, it's going to be two different, decoupled storefront and legacy accelerator storefront in the backend. But for the customer, it is a single storefront. So to give that feel to the customer, definitely we have to create a same look and feel as the legacy accelerator in the decoupled storefront. And similarly, header and footer also we have to create in the same way. So that way, customer will not feel that is two different storefront I'm accessing. So it is going to be look and feel wise. Customer will feel that is a single storefront, but back end side we are migrating into the Spartacus. So once we have done everything, we can change completely that look and feel as well. So this is the approach we recommend to our customers. If you have any questions or if you need more details into that, definitely you can reach out to us. I can definitely give a demo or how we can do that, how we have done for some of our customers. In this, okay, so SAP Commerce Update latest release, I just want to give SAP Commerce Cloud a little bit of roadmap highlights, right? So what they are planning, what kind of features, functionality. I know this Bill already mentioned Spartacus side, Spartacus storefront side. What are all the functionalities which we are planning in SAP Commerce side? Other than Spartacus, a few other things, the commerce perspective, core perspective, what they are doing. So I just want to mention in the roadmap highlights. If you see that recent innovation plan, innovation or feature outlook, or Q3 to 2021 or beyond also, right? If you see that SAP Commerce Cloud roadmap, SAP Commerce mostly focusing, the headless architecture. That's the reason, I just kept this particular slide basically. If you see this commerce core functionality, which is all mostly OCC API specific, right? So configurable bundle, cart validation, product and grouping, all those API specific functionality which they are developing. If you see that any of the functionality which is specific to the accelerator specific, nothing they are developing accelerator specific. If you see that mostly they are focusing OCC layer APIs, and also like Spartacus storefront. Addition to that, few other product like context driven services, and other things they are focusing. So SAP planning to move completely to support into the headless architecture, into completely providing out of the box itself all the functionality with which headless architecture with the Spartacus storefront. How this is just diagram I'm just giving. So how it is going to be, the Spartacus is going to be our storefront, and then Spartacus can easily integrate with any other system, right? So for example, as a customer, the core functionality definitely from the Spartacus you will access from SAP Commerce. Suppose if you want to create your model specific or any complete customized functionality you can write as a part of microservice. Also you can write those functionality, and then you can deploy those microservices as part of any cloud architecture if you have, or the Kima runtime also they're giving Kima also you can run, or you can use SAP B2B as well to access the any other services. And similarly Spartacus can integrate with any services. It's directly can integrate to any of the CX integration, marketing and sales cloud, S/4HANA integrations, or service cloud, CDC, any cloud integrations, any APIs it can integrate, and any intelligence services it can use. So that way it is completely decoupled the storefront Spartacus. It can integrate SAP Commerce for core functionality, and any other services it can directly integrate to any other system. It no need to be depends on the SAP Commerce. Through the Commerce, you don't need to get that those details actually. So which is completely more headless architecture, which is not monolithic architecture. Yes, now I'll give it to Alfonso. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, definitely you can reach out to us. We can set up another call or anything for giving demo or whatever approach we are following. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Abdul, for sharing. It's always great to restate as much as possible the new SAP Commerce functionalities and features that directly match the technology roadmaps of so many of his customers so they can make the most of their technology investments. Now, I know that webinars are great and provide insightful information around the product at hand, but there's nothing like a personalized consultation session where you get to talk about the product and how it relates directly to your current environment. So for all attendees, we're offering a complimentary Spartacus consultation session. So we hope you take advantage of this offer. We'll be sharing additional details for the consultation session following up with this webinar, or you can always reach out to us for more questions at sapcommerce.royalcyber.com or info@royalcyber.com. Now, at this time, Bill, Abdul, and I are going to open the floor for any questions that might come up or might have come up during this presentation. That being said, please start sharing your questions over the open chat feature, and we'll do our best to answer any questions or as many questions in the next few minutes. Any questions that we don't get to in time, of course, our team will reach out to you directly with the appropriate insights.